virus particles together. I mean, the MMR alone is a combination of three different three different actual biological substances, and then you add that to all these toxic chemicals, provoking an abnormal way that the gut handles protein, and causing anything from what Wakefield called the, a gut that had immune dysfunction, to what some are calling leaky gut, to what others are saying is related to celiac disease. And celiac disease is just another one of these diseases that there is abnormal handling of protein, and specifically wheat gluten, by the gut. And there has been many successes, and again, we're down to individual case reports, success stories of parents who have put their children on a strict gluten-free diet and treated them as if they had celiac disease, to whatever degree there's proof to that. And have seen some results. So I haven't seen the new article, but I would not be surprised if it's, if it cites celiac disease as something that's been under-recognized, under-diagnosed, and therefore not treated, that could potentially benefit this population.
Yeah, he says the title of that article is 100 times more than was previously thought.
Right. Well, we're starting to see, people have gone to alternative practitioners for years now and gotten anything from blood tests to muscle testing to just dietary histories. In one way or another, they have found out that they're gluten sensitive. And they've gotten rid of, allergies, skin problems, migraine, headaches, all kinds, arthritis, all kinds of things with a gluten-free diet. So probably what's being put in Scientific American is like this big news to the medical community, but it's not really big news to people who have been seeking alternatives where the conventional medicine has failed them, and on their own have found that, wheat sensitivity is one of the most common allergies we're now discovering in the United States. Milk, wheat, and soy and corn are the four most common gastrointestinal intolerances that we're finding people have, and we're finding that the gut is not just a conduit that breaks down food and gets it absorbed. The gut is actually an immune organ itself that interacts very intimately. And it's very interesting because the lining of the gut has a lot of the same neural receptors on it that the brain has. For instance, dopamine receptors can be found throughout the gut. Serotonin receptors can be found throughout the gut. And so, the relationship between the gastrointestinal tract, the immune system, and the brain is we're starting to discover ever closer. And celiac disease may be the actual model for that.
And that relationship could be one reason why certain treatments that involve serotonin could actually upset the stomach.
Exactly. Yeah. And why some gastrointestinal drugs cause mental effects.
Wow. Okay, Sharon has one more question, and then I just read that the blood-brain barrier is more permeable in ill people. Therefore, that's why it allows toxins to enter. I don't understand why they couldn't just go out as well. I don't want to put anyone to sleep, but can you refer us to any websites or books to learn more about this?
Well, because whatever's on my screen is on your screen, I can't really flip through my resources here, but I'd be happy to get some specific resources for you and get those to David, and that those can probably be amended to the handout. Most of what you're going to find on the blood-brain barrier is very, scientific, and it's for neurology geeks. But funny enough, it is in the material that's been collected and put into lay language by parent autism groups that have done more to actually educate the non-medical public on the actual biochemistry of the brain itself than any other group has.
That's good.
Again, though, you have to really be careful of when you're going and be aware of when what you're reading is what's factual and what's theory, because this very surreptitious unconsciously slides into theory, and you still think you're reading fact. You see? And it goes right into, and therefore there's a brain biochemical abnormality and you need this drug. It goes there very quickly, so I would just be aware of that. You know?
Very slick, aren't they, huh?
Yes.
Okay, last question. Could meat, wheat, soy, I think you actually said milk, could the milk, wheat, soy, and corn intolerance you talked about be because of the genetic modification, I guess, of the crops?
That is a really very insightful question. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Certainly we know that in milk, most of the commercial milk we're drinking has recombinant bovine growth hormone in it. And it's actually against the law to label it that way. In other words, the people who are promoting the milk that doesn't have the hormones in it, they can't say no hormones because all animal substances have some sort of hormones, right?
Right.
And so they have to actually say that it doesn't have this specific one thing made by Monsanto in it, you know. And the thing that they're synthetic is something else again. But totally aside from the hormones and genetic modification, how about just all the antibiotics that they're being given? How about all the, how about they're given natural hormones as well? I mean, just the estrogen that's put in cow feed and chicken feed. I mean, chickens are the most estrogenized food that we have in this country. And so, and that's not even genetically modified. So even before genetic modification, there's so much. One of the real concerns in pork is the unsanitary conditions that they're actually raised in. It's really disgusting. I mean, same with beef. I mean, mad cow disease. We think that part of that is because part of the feed that beef lots are feeding beef comes from the scrap on the slaughter room floor. Gets recycled back into the feed.
Oh my
So what is the effect of an animal eating animal products of its own species, especially things like brains, you see? And so there's all this potential for these little, brain viruses, which is what seems to cause mad cow disease. So yeah, but definitely genetic modification. It's a very good question. Are these basically very, very new things that we're putting into our bodies which haven't had a chance to adapt, now being recognized as foreign entities and provoking a low-level immune response? And I think it's highly likely.
This is sobering, really. That's why it's so important, like Sherry said, that we should have knowledge being made available to people so people can be aware of these things. Well, this has been great.
Thank you so much for the work you do, David and Sherry, in continuing this webinar and providing such a broad scope of things that are, it seems like every single topic that is being presented, it's like, oh, I don't want to miss that one. I don't want to miss that one. And it's like, oh, they're all so timely and it's information that you're not hearing in other places so much, And so I really, really want to thank you for what you're doing, and I want to thank you for the opportunity for me to get this out, because every day on the highway when I pass that autism billboard, I get mad. And so now I have a chance to say my piece on it.
You can vent, huh?
Yes.
Well, like you and I have talked about in the past, I mean, if we could get you on every month, we would love it. But of course, that's impracticable. But we would love to have you on.
Well, I've got a new section on my website, and I'd love to do it with you. It's a series called Bad Ideas in Medicine. And we've got some real doozies on there, let me tell you.
Are we going to go as far back as bloodletting?
Oh, yes. Yes, we have an article on leeches, which has some merit, but I don't know if anybody knew. Our first president, Washington, was actually bled to death by Benjamin Rush, Dr. Benjamin Rush.
Really?
A signer of the Declaration of Independence, yes. So, yes, we have leeches in there. We have deep brain stimulation there. We have ketamine coma in there. I mean, these are some really bad ideas. So.
Well, just say the word, Moira. We'll get you on.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, and thank you, folks, for staying with us. And see you Thursday for Dr. Owens' take on the topic. All right. Have a a good night and God bless.
Good night.